Hey everyone, my name is Gene and you are on our first video. This is the convoy of two. We have a fleet of vehicles and we decided to start with very special to us vehicle, a 2011 Toyota 4Runner Trail. Not a lot of trail left in it, but we're gonna walk around it and you'll see. So the first mod is actually a Raptor liner. Um, you know how I'm sure you all remember how you go on a trail and you hit the narrow spot and you hear that squeaky brushing noise and you understand that your paint is busted at the moment. Well, we don't hear that, and that's the Raptor liner's job. Um, it's not done professionally, but it does the job. And the next one is the bumper. So we're gonna start with exterior, right? The next one is the bumper. It's a CBI front bumper. We were looking to provide as much protection as we could possibly do. Would we have chosen this one if we are beginning from scratch? I'm not sure. When we started the build, the weight wasn't a thing and wasn't a concern, and you learn as you go and you add, well, it's just 200 pounds, it's just 100 pounds, and then eventually you end up with a very, very heavy vehicle. So it is a heavy bumper. It provides a lot of protection. It's very convenient, a lot of holes, so access to the winch, access to the rope, you can see everything. Some winches you can't see the rope, it's difficult to put the line in. This is very comfortable and convenient. Some lighting going on, we're going to talk about that later. To fit, and this rig runs on 37s. One of the mods to fit 37s is a wider fenders from McQueen. There are two choices there. You can opt for regular ones or the one with the cutout for snorkel. We're going to talk about that. The reason we wanted a snorkel, other than the obvious and the colder air and the dust and all the water crossing, and we want to see the comments that people have to say, why do you want to run a snorkel? Is it good or bad? However, if you go with the widest fender set, we believe you have to run the snorkel. The reason is your intake is right there, and there is no more inner liner unless you want to fabricate your own. You really can't run any protection there. So if there is no snorkel, everything your tire throws up goes into your intake. Not great. So we wanted a snorkel, and that was one of the reasons. I can tell you that it took a lot to put those fenders in, and especially to massage the snorkel in. Yes, it's doable, it's in, but we had to customize all the brackets for the snorkel, and we had to really work this thing in. But now it's working. All right, let's smoothly transition up. We're running a Sherpa roof rack. We have a Starlink on top. We used to have a rooftop tent, a whole different conversation that we definitely want to have, rooftop tent versus all other options, but we do not want that weight up top. So it's gone. We have different solutions. We have a trailer that we talk about, but we do want the awning. Sometimes you just need a quick lunch, quick something, and there's rain or there's sun, we use the awning. So Alucab awning 270, one of my favorites products. Freestanding, very easy to deploy and very quick to pack. We're running RCI skids and sliders. We all need protection, we all understand it. One of the first mods to do, nothing new there. Now I want to talk about the Expedition 1. So Expedition 1 rear bumper was by far my favorite. I eyeballed it for so long. It's a big investment. If you want to carry 37, not a lot of options. And yes, we love the bumper, but here are the problems. First of all, the way it holds the tire, you can see. Imagine us going 20, 30 miles an hour, bumpy road. This thing is really, really shaky. I know it's not gonna fall off, but it just gives you a bad feeling and it's very noisy. But that's not the biggest problem with this bumper. The biggest problem with this bumper that we have, if you're going through mud, especially if you're climbing in that scenario, your bumper really grabbing all this mud, this is impossible to open. Let me show you. When you open the bumper, there's a little lever that you pull and open. Well, that whole area gets full of mud, and you cannot press this lever to open the bumper. In fact, I carry a pry bar because when we do go through mud and I need access to the back door, the only way for me is to open it with the pry bar. It looks awesome. Everything else is great. We love the design. It's very strong. But this, if I would be choosing the bumper, I would not choose this bumper because of those levers. This is us, and definitely people that don't run in the mud a lot would love it. But for us, this is a deal breaker. Yes, let me just open the whole thing so you'll see. The 37 clears it just by hair with the lights, and we had to change the lights. And one of the reasons we changed the tail lights was because the factory lights are a little bit more wider, and the tire really hits it. So, but you can fit 37s weights, no problem. Very convenient. You can carry fuel, you can carry water. We do use the leather. It's all great. All right, our favorite topic: suspension and drivetrain. I'll start with wheels and tires. We're running 37s on that rig. We absolutely love Mickey Thompson's, and specifically Baja Boss 80. I also ran MT in the past. Amazing tire. We wanted something more highway friendly, so we decided to go with 80. 37, 12 and a half, 17, and you know, you build your vehicle around the tire that you want to run. The wheels are Teraflex. I think it's not very popular in the Toyota community, but there are two main reasons I like those wheels. The air down valve, you open it, there are like 8 holes, I think, that the air can escape. It literally instantaneous. So very easy, very quick. And then you just, if you forget to close it, you will run out of air. So don't forget to do that. And the second reason we like those wheels is because of that protection ring. And what's special about it is sectional, and every section, if you damage it, you can just replace one little section. I think it's $6 or $7. So very cost friendly, and you keep your wheels safe. Long travel in the front. Dirt King setup with King coilovers. Long travel, nothing new. I know you're familiar with that setup. Of course, we did power brakes. There's a lot of weight here. We already mentioned that a couple of times, and it is 37. So to stop the rig, I think it's really a safety thing. In the back, we have Dobinsons, the 600 pound additional weight. The reason for all that weight, all the spring rate is, of course, the bumper and the tires, and we run some stuff, but also we run a long range tank when everything is full and we hook up a trailer. I think the Patriot is about 300 pounds tongue weight. There's a lot of weight on it. So we wanted this spring. We, of course, re-geared the rig. We're running 488s without swapping the front differential to a Tacoma one. This is the highest ratio you can run. So we are running 488s. And then one of our recent mods is Dana 60. We are running Dana 60 in the back. And then here's the cool thing. There are a few rigs that are running long range tank. There are even fewer rigs that are running Dana 60. I think we're probably the only rig yet to run both. And the reason it's important is they really weren't designed to run one with another, and there was a lot of issues we had to face to install the Dana 60. My best friend Kai helped me a lot. Probably you'll see some videos from us and from him on that install, but we made it work. So what else? We do have, I want to show that one. The Axle Fabrication is actually a new product on the market. And the reason we really had to get something I didn't even install, we just got it, So here's what's special. What's so special about this product? Dana 60 is a much wider diameter tube, and I'm sure you all know when we're flexing, the lower control arm hits the axle tube. And there are some solutions on the market, um, but if you really have a long travel, you will eventually contact, your control arm will eventually contact the tube. And as you can see, it has a dent, and that actually clears the axle, or help clearing the axle. Very new, we just got it, haven't even installed it yet, so I'm very excited to install it soon. Now, from the angle, you can see the Dana 60, and you can see our auxiliary tank. And that's one of the reasons we had such a hard time to make them all work. Dana 60 has a much larger differential. The Panhard bar has a little, it's spaced out to clear the bigger differential, and that actually meets the auxiliary tank. And we had to cut it, clock it, and re-weld it, so we will make the two mods work together. I'm sure you know, the second you start modifying, no mods are planned to work with other mods. So that's all up to you how you make it work. One last thing we had to do on that end. No front sway bar, of course. It's a long travel, you remember, and the vehicle is heavy, so we felt like it's very tippy. It doesn't handle very well. So we upgraded the rear sway bar to SuperPro, and it's adjustable. And I think the firmest setup, which is what we're running, supposed to be 200% firmer than the factory. So it helps a little bit with handling, and actually it better balances the flex between the front and rear axles. I think that's it for the rear end. We'll get into under the hood in a second, but just to finish um, the drivetrain and the axles, we do run Tom Woods drive shaft with double cardan. Um, that is to connect to Dana 60. One comment for East Coast Gear Supply, they do not tell you what's the length of the drive shaft. So you have to install the axle, measure between the um, the differential and the transfer case, and only then you can order your drive shaft. So we worked with Tomwoods, and we're yet to be, we're yet to discover the differences with the double cardan. We didn't put enough mileage since, but let's see if it's really better, less vibrations. It is stronger, um, not because of the double cardan. All right, I wanted to talk about, before we dive into the under the hood, I want to talk about axle shafts in the front. We did order trail gear axle shafts. So we're running the one that comes with Dirt King. It's a long story. I'll be short. Uh, it actually, right now, this is the limiting factor in our travel. And yes, we know we need to shave uh, um, the housing, and we did. We shaved it to the point where we're no longer comfortable with how thin the walls are, and it's touching, and we had to play with the limiting straps to make sure we're spinning free. So there is a new solution. Trail Gear makes an axle shaft. They are actually same idea as the new Toyota axle shafts from the factory, different joints, and that would be great to run those, and it will allow us to use the full long travel. The problem is the actual shaft is too long, and right now we try to install it. It's just too long. We need to talk to Trail Gear and see how we figured it out. So at the moment we still run the regular CVs with the longer shafts. All right, under the hood. So some mods, to squeeze every horsepower we possibly can, which I don't think that, oh, we are running OTT tune. I don't think it actually gives us any horsepower, but the shifting is better. That at least I felt. We do have a TRD intake and a Magnum Flow exhaust. That probably gives us the 5 horses. Um, what else we got there? Well, the cooling actually was an issue. And you know, when you go bigger tires, um, even with the regearing, there's a lot of stress on your transmission. So we did add a cooler for the transmission, especially when you run the trailer. I could see how transmission temperature went up, the transmission fluid. And we upgraded our radiator to CSF high capacity radiator. So basically improved the cooling of the whole thing. We spent a few years dwelling in Texas. It's very hot, and I did see the temperatures going up in Arizona, especially. So that was a needed mod. All right, let's talk about electricals. We are running 2150 Odyssey. Um, the reason to run high capacity battery and a deep cycle battery, in our opinion, is the winch. We do have a different setup for dual battery. We will talk about it in a bit. Um, but yeah, once long time ago, in the very beginning of my journey in off-road, I had an FJ. I just installed the winch. I was so excited. I went for a trail. It was a really tough trail. I had to winch many times, somewhere 10 to 15 times, and I destroyed the stock battery. So ever since, every time I start a build, the second I add a bumper with the winch is when I add a battery. So we do run a voltage booster. I know that to charge those batteries you need slightly higher voltage, and with smarter alternators, it's a little challenging. So it's fine. It's running. Um, I didn't have a really good experience with Odyssey specifically. This one is still alive, but when it's time to replace it, we'll look into a different brand. We do have a DC to DC charger, and as a dual battery setup, we run EcoFlow. You know, I was a fan of Red Arc, and I built many dual battery systems, and it's just so easy these days. You get your solar generator, and you get your DC to DC charger, and you're all set. So yeah, I learned a lot from Kai Tinker's Adventure channel, and basically he runs all electrical setup for a while now. So if you're wondering how to do that, check Tinker's Adventure channel. We didn't talk about the switch panels, so we run Garmin switch panels. This is fairly new, I think maybe a couple of years. At least that's what I know about them. Very convenient, very easy install. You don't need to run anything through your firewall. Nothing that makes the install a breeze. I used to run a self-made switch panel. If I'll find it, maybe we'll add a picture of it. I was very proud for many years to not spend $1,000 for a Switch Pro and run something like that, but for an S-Pod actually. But now it's just too easy not to go with something like that. So we run two. We have a lot of added circuits, so one wasn't enough. What else? I think this is it for the front. Of course, you can see everything is fused, everything is controlled remotely with the relays. We're trying to manage that as much as we can. All right, I'll see you folks inside. Inside, just your cockpit essentials. Scan gauge to get the temperatures. We do run a Valentine 1 radar detector, not because we're speeding, but just to know that police is around, helpful. Mounting for the phones and GPSs. We have a head unit by Sony. We're not in love with it. It's okay. We run knobs, shift knobs from Tinker's Adventure. Highly recommended. I think it's the best on the market. Definitely check them out. For the comms, we're Midland. All our rigs are with Midland. This one is 575. And then we do have a center console bolt. You know, it's just convenient if you have to leave important stuff in the vehicle. You have an option to lock it up. All right, folks, I am sitting in a third row, and this is a trail edition. If you remember, it doesn't come with the third row. So it took some effort. This is a 4Runner third row. I think it was from SR5. It took some effort to put it in. We had to drill through the floor. I was surprised to find out once I drilled through the metal sheet, the actual mounting points were there. So not, I think just the two holes I had to make it through and kind of create an anchoring point. Probably the toughest part of the whole project was when I had to cut those lines over here, and I had to put this bolt to hold the seat belts because there is no welded and nut in that. It's deep here, I guess. But anyways, there is no welded nut, so you kind of have to fish it and try to find your thread. It was very time consuming. It's there, it's working, it's all Toyota. So basically safety is there. And we're very happy. Sometimes we need more than 5 seat, and we have it. What else? So you can't see it, but under the seat there is the JL audio amplifier that runs the subwoofer. We'll talk about it when we go to the back. So usually the configuration here is that this side, the 60 is up and the 40 is down, and we run our fridge there. And between the folded seat and the driver's seat, we put our Delta, Delta Max 2 with extension. We charge it with this DC to DC charger. It's an amazing setup. We love EcoFlow. We had really bad experience with Blue Yeti. That's a topic for another video. Our last trip to Yellowstone, we were running on our Alucab camper. We had a Blue Yeti there. You know, we had too good of a deal not to get it, and that was a mistake. So definitely gonna fix that. And we are fans of EcoFlow, so we will end up getting something there. This is our dual air compressor. Nothing new there. What's cool here is there's a little lever here, and usually it will be closed, and we will run all the lockers from here. The front locker is already connected. The rear locker is soon to be. And then if we want to air up, we open this and it goes to the reservoir and we connect our line. We can air up the tires. This is it for the third row, and let's go to the back. All right, people, we made it to the back. So on this side we have flashlight, we have fire extinguisher. This is the back view on the air compressor and air system. This is where we connect our airline to air up all the tires. The sit, so it's really simple to put everything up. 1, 2, 3, and you're good to go. This side is just like that, it's 50-50. And having that row, people, makes this 4Runner a minivan on 37s, which is pretty cool. Same way to put everything back. And then the last thing, I guess, is the sub. So it's powered by JL Audio amplifier, and the sub is also JL Audio. Is the stealth box, very tight fit. Took us a while to install. We had to take the entire third row out because we installed the sub after we installed the third row. But hey, whatever it takes, right? It's a nice sound. We love it. Yeah, I think this is it for the side. This is the line, this is the airline. It will be organized better. This is how we control the locker of the Dana 60. I'm about to connect it probably tomorrow. Yeah, I think we have lighting to talk about, and we're almost done. Congratulations, you made it so far. Last and very quick topic, lighting. Everybody is excited about lighting. We run, I think, not every possible brand, but we have combination of everything. We run Baja lights, as the main front beams. We have a small rigid bar. We have more Baja lights for the fogs. Um, we have extreme LEDs as a bar. We have Vision X. Vision X is one of my favorites actually. Not very popular brand, super high quality, not cheap. They make few different products. I like them a lot. And then we have some Bahas on the back as a chase lights. I think that's it for the light. Everything is connected to the Garmin's as we already talked about. Yeah, so this is it for the 4Runner. I am sure we forgot at least 5, 7 mods, but we walked you through the main. We will do some zoom ins into suspension travel. There's a lot of thoughts there that we just didn't want to make this video too long. But put in the comments below which topics would you want to discuss, would you want us to make the video on. Thank you for watching our videos. Stay tuned. The next or one of the next walkarounds we're gonna do is on our Tundra 2024 Tundra with Alu cab. This is a special one, and the reason is it's a limited, but it's a double cab, and it's a really difficult to find such a vehicle. We wanted 6.5-foot bed to maximize the camper size, and it was really tough to find one. So stay tuned. You're gonna love the build that we have there.